Hello guys, welcome to today's video, and today we are doing a Wattpad story time from TessaBrown101. I will put her Wattpad in the description, and I'll also give her a shout out. So woohoo! Thank you Tessa Brown for letting me read your story. So this story contains some important information. First, you are 25 years old. Your quirk will be revealed in later chapters. You're a hero that works alone, even though you work for Endeavor's agency due to trust issues and past trauma. You fight with a pair of katanas to not use your quirk unnecessarily and drain yourself. So, when I say YFN, it means your full name. So, like, just because I might just say your full name so that's easier on the tongue. And yeah, your hero costume is on her Instagram. So, I'll go ahead and put her Instagram in the bio also. And she said that she also had changed a lot of the hero costumes because, well, they're all 25 now, so some things have to change. And that's all the important information. Now, let's get into the introduction. Trigger warning: blood imagery, kidnapping, and violence. Another attack? Asked Ryan's mom. Yeah, and I'm afraid that I'll have to go and stop it, said Dad. Okay, but be safe, said her mom, and he pecked her lips. I will, he said, with a smile. Little Ryan looked at her dad, who was getting ready to head out, and turned her face away from him angrily. He had promised to spend the night with her and watch lots of movies and eat loads of snacks. Ryan, aren't you gonna give your dad a good luck kiss so that he can fight the bad guys? He asked, looking upset at his daughter. No, she said, but didn't look at him. He moved closer to her and turned her face to see him. Really? He said with a fake pout. But it didn't work. Okay, fine. So, when I come back from the fight, we're gonna watch movies and eat lots of junk food for a whole week. Young Ryan seemed to think about it and then turned and smiled. Okay, promise? She asked. Promise, her dad said and hugged her. She kissed her dad on the cheek and hugged him. Hey, let me in too, said her mom with a laugh and joined in. We're gonna have so much fun, Ryan said with a huge grin on her face. She loved her father with every inch of her heart. He was very dear to her. Her father ruffled her hair and left. She was left with her mother. Hey, don't worry, okay? Your dad is gonna be just fine, she said with a humble smile. Ryan nodded and started to watch the live forecast of his fight. After a few minutes, she got an idea that she wanted to go get mini snacks for her dad, as he was fighting very hard for her, so that's how she would thank him. Mom, can we go and get popcorn and chocolates and pizzas and chips and cookies and... yelled Ryan as she prepared for her father to come home. Yeah, hon, just give me a second. Okay? Her mother asked. Okay, she said and looked at her dad, who was fighting a villain on the TV screen. He was her idol. When she grew up, she wanted to be brave just like her dad and fight villains just like him. Her dad was the 6th hero and was working very hard to get in the top 5. His quirk was liquid manipulation, and just as the name suggests, he can control any liquid. It was a very useful quirk, and that is why he made it to the top 10 in a year. "Let's go," her mother said as she held Wyan's hand. Wyan giggled and smiled at her mother as they both made their way to the grocery store. They left the grocery store with a few big bags of snacks and other stuff. They were chatting excitedly when a huge guy with a weird clown mask came running towards them. Her mother saw and got alert. She hadn't brought her katanas with her today because she thought it would be unnecessary to grab attention and was now regretting this decision. She stood in front of her daughter, ready to protect her, but the guy just pushed her out of the way and grabbed Wyan. "Mommy!" she screamed as the guy ran with her over his shoulder. She was struggling against him to get out of the grass, but what can a mere 8-year-old do to a huge man? The man then came to a stop and put her down. They were in a dark alley with a lot of smoke and commotion on the other side. She was about to run away when she heard a shout. The voice sounded like her father, her very dad. She whirled around and saw him. He was deeply wounded, and his clothes were drenched in blood. The villain who brought her here transformed into a shadow and vanished. "Dad!" she shouted and tried to run towards him, only to be grabbed by another villain and holding her hostage. The men laughed. Laughed hysterically. "Since you were so keen to keep fighting, I asked him to bring your daughter here. Might as well have fun killing you and make your daughter suffer." "Stay away from her!" he yelled, getting up on his feet. "Huh? What was that?" the villain asked and stalked towards him. "Stay away from my daughter," he repeated, gritting his teeth. "Oh yeah? Well then how would you like it if I did this?" the villain asked as he slashed at Wyan's back with the blade, making her scream in pain. The blood soaked through her shirt as she started crying. "No!" yelled the pro hero, stumbling due to his injuries on the leg. "Oh, this is indeed fun. How about this?" the villain asked, then punched Wyan in the face. She shrieked and cried, her face swelling up from the bruise. "Don't touch her!" yelled her dad. "I'm loving this. Aren't you loving this too?" he asked the little girl in his grip. Her back was bleeding furiously and the bruise from the punch. She looked at him and glared. "Oh, she's a tough one. But we will change that, won't we?" The villain then raised his hand, but instead of attacking the little girl, he extended his hand and froze the water attacked by her father. He looked at her father and said, "Really, you just don't know how to quit. Your quirk is nothing against mine. I can turn all liquids into solids. That is my quirk. But you're so thick in the skull. Leave my kid alone," yelled her father and attacked him again. He was drained and struggling to stand up. He was covered in bruises and cuts that were bleeding fast. His vision was blurring, but he didn't care. All he thought about was how to protect his daughter. And just when all hope was lost, he saw a fellow hero slowly approaching the villain. The villain hadn't noticed yet, and he was glad about it. The villain then jumped out of the hiding spot and attacked the villain. Caught by surprise, the villain stumbled down while the pro hero made his way to his daughter. "Wyan, I love you and your mother so much. Remember that always, okay? Become a hero and take care of people for me. Will you? Her dad asked with a smile on his face. I will, Wine replied, not knowing where this was going. Take care of your mother too, will you? He asked, planting a small kiss on her head. I will, she said. Good. I love you, sweetheart, he said, and had tears in his eyes. I love you too, Dad, she said, finally getting the gist of what was about to happen next. Her dad looked at her, tears flowing freely. No, Dad, please, no, she said. Hey, my baby. Now I'm gonna go, okay? Don't cry, my love, he said, cupping her cheeks. No, please, Dad, don't leave me. Please, Dad, you promised, she yelled, but it was too late. Her father had already gone back to fight the villain. Corruptor, get my daughter to safety. I'll take care of him, he yelled. Yes, sir, he replied. He knew that the pro hero would not be able to fight him off, but he had to listen to his senior's order. I will kill you, said the villain looking at Corruptor. Oh no you won't, said the pro hero, attacking him with water from the pipelines. Okay then, let's kill you instead, he said, and kicked her dad in the stomach. No, yelled Wyan as she saw her father getting kicked. She was about to go and rescue him when the hero grabbed her. No, I want to save my dad. She looked at the heroes with tear-filled eyes. Flooding out of her eyes. She didn't care about the injuries she suffered. She didn't care about anything around her. Her eyes were fixed on the limp figure of her father, who was just smiling at her a few moments ago and who promised her only 3 hours ago that he will watch anything she wants. No, no, Dad! She screamed and thrashed against the hero that was holding her back. She looked at the hero with tear-filled eyes, pleading him to let her go, but he didn't budge. No, no, no! Dad, please, get up! She cried, but her father didn't move. Looks like he isn't getting up, kid. See you next time, said the villain as he walked away. A tear slid down Ryan's cheek and hit the ground. Everything was in slow motion for her. She thrashed out of the grip of the hero and ran towards her father's body and shook him, trying desperately to wake him up, but she had no luck. The villain laughed as he left, whereas the mind of the young girl was filled with hatred towards him. He killed his father. He killed her father. He took home away from her. He took one of the most important people of her life away from her. Even though she was still crying and trying to wake up her dad, constant thoughts were running around her mind. She thought she was going to become a hero just like her father and take care of her mother and people around her. She was going to find the man and avenge her father. The girl was still shaking, her father awake, but the blood loss from the wound was now taking effect. She was now feeling weak and soon passed out. Her head laid against her father's heartbeatless chest. The blood from his wound now covered both of them. It was a truly and poetic sight to see. A father lying dead with his daughter on him. A father who couldn't complete his goal or keep his promise. A father who was now gone.